Welcome back to our class on verbs. In the last class, we discussed on the broad classification of verbs into dynamic and stative verbs and transitive and intransitive verbs. Today, we will be discussing the assumed forms of verbs. So, the categorization of the verbs on the basis of the forms which it takes in a sentence. So, you can categorize the verbs into two depending upon the forms which it takes in a sentence. They are finite verbs and non-finite verbs. So, there are two types of verbs. They are finite verbs and non-finite verbs. So, what do you mean by a finite verb? A finite verb is a verb which acts as the main verb in a sentence. Finite verb is the main verb in a sentence. What do you mean by the main verb? It will be the main verb in a sentence, and it can change their form. It can change its form in accordance with what you say, depending upon number, tense, mood, etc. Number, tense, mood, etc. And it should, or it has a subject. We will look into an example. She danced. Here that is only one verb and it is a main verb. Danced is a main verb. It can take the tense. It is a simple past tense is used there. So, this is a finite verb. I will write a bigger sentence. My little brother wants to be an actor. My little brother wants to be an actor. Here, which is a main verb here? Wants is a main verb here because it can assume the forms, because depending upon the number you have used the s because it is a singular. So, wants is the finite verb in that sentence. So, finite verbs are simply, or like when you look into a sentence, how can you identify a finite verb? Finite verbs are, or finite verbs are the verbs which are acting as a main verb in the sentence, or the finite verbs are the verbs which has a subject in that inside a sentence. So, that is the most powerful verb in a sentence. So, that means this categorization itself gives you an idea that there are certain other verbs which cannot act as a main verb in a sentence, or in a sentence there can be other verbs as well. So, that categorization of verbs are known as non-finite verbs. Non-finite verbs are the verbs which, or verbs non-finite verb does not show, what do you say, number, tense, etc. Number, tense, etc. It cannot act as a main verb. It cannot act as the main verb. So, these are finite verbs, non-finite verbs. So, it is not the main verb in a sentence. So, these non-finite verbs are rather a confusing category of words. Confusing category, because unless you are able to identify it properly, there is a chance that you will go wrong. So, these non-finite verbs are again categorized or again divided into three. They are gerunds, participles, and infinitives. So, the three types of non-finite verbs are gerunds, participles and infinitives. So, we will, these non-finite verbs cannot be used alone in a sentence. These non-finite verbs cannot be used alone in a sentence without a finite verb. You have to keep in mind, because these non-finite verbs always act as a noun or an adjective or an adverb. They look like a verb, they look like verbs, but they act as a noun, adverb or adjective. Act as noun, so non-finite verbs cannot act as a main verb and they act as noun, adverb or adjectives. That is the performance which they can perform in a sentence. So, there are three types of non-finite verbs: gerunds, participles and infinitives. So, we will look into detail what a gerund is. So, gerund is simply the words or the verbs which ends with ing, but all the ing forms of the verb or ing forms of the words cannot be a gerund. So, what is the technicality or what is the qualification of an ing form of a verb to become a gerund is that gerunds are the ing forms of a verb which acts as a noun. So, what is a gerund? Gerunds are ing forms which act as a noun. I know you are confused how this ing forms can act as a noun. I will give you an example. Swimming is fun. Swimming is fun, right? What is swimming here? Because we know that in every sentence you should need a subject and a predicate, no doubt about it, right? There is no doubt that a sentence should have a subject and a predicate. Here, swimming is actually acting as a subject, right? Swimming is acting as a subject. So, subjects can or subject is always a noun, right? So, what is here? What is swimming here? Swimming is a gerund because it looks like a verb, it has a form of a verb, but the thing is that it is acting as a subject in that sentence. So, like ing form of a verb which acts as a noun is a definition to the gerund, but in order to identify a gerund in a sentence, like the thing is that you can easily identify a gerund in a sentence by simply looking at its position. If it is a subject or an object, if it is a subject or an object, then it will be a gerund. So, ing form of the verbs, so to simplify the definition, gerunds are the ing form of the verbs which acts as subjects or objects in sentences. For example, watching TV is my favorite pastime. Watching TV is my favorite pastime. So here watching is a gerund, watching is a gerund because it is a part of the subject in that sentence. It is part of the subject in that sentence, that is watching TV is a gerund. Or here watching TV is my favorite. So watching that is a subject. The word watching is a subject there and it is acting as a noun in that sentence. So that is a gerund. For example, then sentences which can, or in sentences in which the gerunds can act as an object is I like writing in English. I like writing in English. Here I like what? This is a direct object. This is a direct object. So this writing here is a gerund. Then next category is known as infinitives. There are two types of infinitives in a sentence. There are two types of infinitives in a sentence. They are zero infinitive, and two infinitive. Zero infinitive and two infinitive. Zero infinitives are basically the base form of a a base form of a verb without any inflection. Example, he helped. Example, he helped his friend finish the homework. Here, which is a main verb here, or which is a finite verb here? Help. Help is a finite verb here because that is a main verb here. Then can you find any other verbs in this sentence? Finish is yet another verb, but definitely it is not the main verb in the sentence. So here this finish is the zero infinitive, or it is an infinitive. It is acting as a non-finite verb in a sentence. So it is not necessary that every sentence should have a non-finite verb, but the existence of a finite verb is very much compulsory in a sentence, but there can be non-finite verbs as well in a sentence. So this finish here is a non-finite verb or a zero infinitive or an infinitive. Then another two infinitive is, I will use this place to write the example. I need to run every day. I need to run every day. Here need is a main verb and to run. To run is the to infinitive or infinitive in the sentence where it is acting as a non-finite verb. So infinitives are easy to identify. Infinitives are very easy to identify. Probably there might be a confusion in identifying the zero infinitive. Zero infinitives are quite a tricky part to identify, but two infinitives are very simple because I want to boil water. I want to boil water. Here to boil, because whenever a verb is preceded by a to, the preposition to, it is a single word, to boil, then it will definitely be an infinitive. It will definitely be an infinitive and it becomes a non-finite verb. Then the next type of non-finite verbs are the participles. There are two types of participles. They are present participle and past participle. Present participle is simply a verb which ends with ing. So it is actually confusing with gerund because gerunds are also ing form of a verb which acts as a noun, but present participle is also ing form of a verb, like a verb which ends with ing. Then how are you going to differentiate between a gerund and a participle? So we will look into an example, some examples. Boiling water is a dangerous thing. Boiling water is a dangerous thing. Here, boiling looks like a gerund, but actually is it the noun in the sentence? No. Which is the main noun in that sentence? Water is the main noun in the sentence, right? And boiling is acting as an adjective here. It is acting as an adjective here. So, gerunds cannot act as an adjective. Gerunds can only act as the noun in a sentence. Gerunds are always nouns, but adjectives, sorry, the participle is always an adjective. Participle functions as an adjective in a sentence. Here, boiling is not the, what you say, the subject or the main noun. It is a part of the subject, no doubt about it. It is a part of the subject, it is a part of the subject, it is an expansion of the subject, no doubt about it. But here, boiling is acting as an adjective. So, it becomes a participle, which is a main verb, is the main verb, be form of the verb is the main verb. Then another example, a laughing man is stronger than a suffering man. Here, which are the participles or ing form of the present participle? There are two participles. They are laughing and suffering. The same old rule that both these words are acting as an adjective in the sentence. So, it becomes a participle, not a gerund. Then, present participles are simply the words, so the verb forms which ends with ing and which acts as an adjective in a sentence and not the main verb in a sentence. And past participles are the verbs which end with ed, en, d, t or n. So, the verbs which ends with these words, for example, a painted frame, broken glass, destroyed bridge. You can use these in sentences. Destroyed bridge. So, these words are what do you mean by the past participle, where past participle here we are not using it in tense, but it's yet another form of a participle which comes under the non-finite verb, where it is not actually functioning as a main verb, but they are the secondary verbs in a sentence and they are not the main verb in a sentence. Since they are not the main verb, since they are not the main verbs in the sentence, they cannot be considered or they cannot assume this tense or number or mood of that particular sentence. So, what is the significance of this finite verb and what is the significance of understanding this finite verbs and non-finite verbs? Because in every sentence there should be a finite verb, because without the existence of a finite verb, a sentence will not exist. It won't be a sentence. So, that is a main verb in a sentence, and this main verb in the sentence can assume many forms. And non-finite verbs are the supporting verbs in a sentence, and they are not actually functioning as a verb. That is the interesting thing. They are not actually functioning as a verb, but they look like a verb. They look like a verb, but actually they act as an adverb or an adjective or a noun, adverb or an adjective. That is how a non-finite verb functions in a sentence. So, this is all about, there is also another categorization known as complements, but I am not taking it in this particular session, because we will have a detailed description of these complements in a class on noun clauses, wherein you will get a better idea of this complement. So, when you go through the textbook, probably you will come across this word known as complement, but I deliberately didn't include that in this session, because probably you will get confused if I describe it in this very first class on verb itself. So, that is all about verbs. So, hope you remember the two classes. You we will just rewind what we have done in these two sessions. In the first session, we talked about the broad classification of the verb into dynamic and stative verb, and then we talked about transitive and intransitive verbs, and in this particular class we talked about the categorization of the verbs on the basis of its forms it can assume, and they are finite and non-finite verbs. And finite verbs are the verbs, what you say, is the main verb in a sentence, and non-finite verbs are the secondary verbs in a sentence, which are actually not functioning as a verb, but they are acting as acting as a noun or an adjective or an adverb in sentences. So, this is all about verbs. Thank you for listening.